Jay Guru Dev, welcome back to the channel. My name is Uncle Makara, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back, welcome back. So I drew this the other day. That is Drukpa Kunle, the man who's known as the crazy monk, giving crazy wisdom. Okay, it's very important that we start with this energy of this understanding, because when we're thinking about relationships, we're thinking about relating with others. Okay. We're thinking about relating with others. We're not just talking about self-relation, we're talking about other relation. Okay? So when you remain you in relationships, understand one thing. You can't get drawn into this twin flame trap of this is my better half. Because you will constantly be seeking for that which is unfulfilled within you. To remain authentic in relationships, you've got to feel complete. You've got to feel fulfilled by yourself. I am completely happy being alone. Now I enter a relationship. And guess what? I'm now sharing happiness with this other person. I'm not depending on just them for my happiness. That's a weird understanding, right? My happiness is inbuilt. It's intrinsic. It's something, it's not that I have to find the path to happiness. It's that what Thich Nhat Hanh said, happiness is the path. Okay? So really start to understand that a lot of what you've thought that relationships are is wrong, because we've been conditioned to watch all of these movies and think that it has to happen like this weird romantic comedy, meet cute special, when it's not really that. There is something invisible happening. There's a game of energies happening between two people. There are shadows lurking between two people. You might not be responding to a person, you're just responding to being triggered by their shadows or their shadows. You see what I'm saying? So this topic is really, really deep. There is a concept in relationship dynamics that's called imago theory. I learned this a while back. Shout out to Nikki Sunshine who taught me this. Imago theory states that we unconsciously attract partners into our lives that trigger our main childhood wounds. Let me say that again. Imago theory states that we unconsciously attract partners into our lives that trigger our childhood wounds. Why would this happen? Why would this even happen, right? Why would this be a thing? Okay? Why would this be a thing? Start to really look at this, because this is the secret to having a good relationship. Okay? Why would it have to be like that? Nothing is, set in stone when it comes down to this. But our prejudices, our ideas, it's not that you have to step into shadow work, mother wound, and father wound, and all that right away. I would say if your relationship is struggling, one thing for you to look at, my friend, is number one, you're walking on eggshells around that other person. You're not fully being yourself. Maybe you got them through a way that was out of alignment to your natural self. So you felt drained whenever you were in their presence because you were putting on a show. Okay? And I'm going to spit it to you like this, absolutely factual, 100% correct. Okay? I'm not going to sit around and, create flowery language for you and make this a very pleasant and ephemeral experience where you float up into the clouds and touch the cosmos for a millisecond and then come back down. Okay? You can do that, but that's up to you. But I want to get you towards your results with this thing, to remain yourself, to take your power back into your own hands. With great power comes great responsibility. I learned that shit from Spider-Man growing up, right? And so now I've got to understand how to take this energy that I've been siphoning off to other people and remain centered with it. Really start to look after myself, care for myself, because the self is the bridge towards others. The self is the bridge towards the world. I can know the entire planet without stepping outside my door. How? How's that even possible? That's a very deep statement, what I just said. But you can know. You know that when you're thinking, it's not just you thinking, bro. It's not just you thinking. It's the mental collective unconscious that you're battling with as well as you're thinking. So think about that, right? Think about it, right? It's very interesting that nobody, or very rarely, do we find that people focus on the playfulness aspect and the inner child aspect in relationships. We look past it, you know? I think there is a very deep power in active imagination, especially together, especially two partners breathing together, reconnecting their nervous system, relaxing their nervous systems together. So each can be a reminder of that stress relief with each other. Instead of what? Getting into covert hostility, passive aggressiveness with each other, not saying what you mean. And now you're a ticking time bomb, my friend. You see what I'm saying? Now you're not safe to be around, so why would she want to be around you? You see what I'm saying? Like I'm being completely open with you guys, right? Because this stuff has really impacted me a lot, man, in my life. Is relationships, and I've understood that the relationship with myself has got to override all. How can I help other people put the oxygen mask on uh, before I help myself with it? You know, I'm gonna save myself to save them. You know, so and again, it's not like I have to put on this fixer mentality too, because I see a lot of guys doing that too. You know, wanting to go in and fix the girl, or the woman coming in to fix the guy. Like, you know, it's playing with dolls again. You know, playing with their hair. You know, doing their nails and shit. Right? Yeah, but let's have you interact with the younger part of you that you've lost that mojo. You know, you've lost that mojo over the years, that young, youthful, exuberant spirit, the one that keeps exploring and like looking through different avenues and, you know, excited about life. Like it's this boyhood adventure, girlhood adventure, right? Like that you're just exploring this cosmic scavenger hunt and you're coming with all of these ideas and elixirs and potions just falling into your lap because you are tapped into divine synchronicity, my friend. That's what you need to be tapping into. And I would say that, you know, when we talk about karma, a lot of people use karma and they blame it on karma. But let me tell you this, okay? Karma is just like the software, you know, that tells our body mind to do shit. It's action, okay? If you think about karma as action. So if you really understand that, okay, my karmic imprint of the action that I'm taking is leaving a mark of some sort, right? It has consequences. My actions have consequences. So I have to measure myself differently now. You see? Because imagine clearing your karma without a vision. Mm. You're like, I'm going to release all this past dogma, karma, conditioning without even knowing where I'm going to build my new image in my mind into, you know? Like, you're getting rid and unlearning stuff, but knowing what you do want is going to be equally as important. It's like, what do you want? It's like, what do you desire, you know? And we can make the argument like we pretty much all want the same things. I don't think we pretty much all want the same things. I think it's layered through like acceptance, love, like kindness, like, yeah, of course. But I think what we want is actually very individual, very personalized, you know? That's why we create this internal longing with it, because it's that inner journey of you merging with that thing and really being on good terms with it, good terms and conditions, right? A good contract between you two, not this transactional contract, but it's this invisible power of a knowingness and a safety that this person trusts me, that we're going in this journey together, right? And this is my teammate. right? This is my superhero team. And so I want you to really, really focus on the vision first, and then the karma. Okay, then the karmic clearing, then the violet flame, then doing all of that stuff that, you know, sends it back into the infinite again, dissolves it back. Okay. Now, I have found something very powerful. It's a mantra that I wanted to share with you guys. And this mantra releases something called Mahapaps. Mahapaps are basically bad reputation, okay? Like little karmic threads that you even have in your past lives, right? So you took some weird actions in your past life. Maybe you stole something from a temple, or you killed a Vedic scholar or something, right? You did something in your past life that is pretty bad, right? It's left an imprint, let's just say. And so now in this waking life, the way that you remove this is you send it back to Shiva. Okay? You send it back to Shiva. So Rudra, one of the earliest forms of Shiva, actually, if you can actually link it back to Rig Vedas, right? If you send it to his energy, he will burn it into the ether. You know, he knows what to do with it better than you do, in a sense. Okay, so the mantra is quite simple, and you can do this with yourself. I like to do it with, like, let's say you get a glass of water or whatever. Put a glass of water, right? I love the energy of water, man. You know, I do a lot of water magic myself. I found it very valuable as an element. So you imagine this water and you're putting it around their head, okay? 11 times as you say this mantra. Now, mainly, this is meant to be the visualization as you're dunking his head in the Ganges, okay? You're dunking their head, whoever you're healing, or yourself, into the Ganges. And you are surrendering your Mahapaps, right? You're surrendering that bad reputation to Shiva. You're asking for repentance, you're asking for, forgiveness, you're confessing, you're seeking salvation. You're basically you're surrendering it, yeah, right? You're like, I'm done with that. I'm done with these like internal resistances where I feel like I can't be myself in this relationship anymore, right? I'm done with that. I'm here to take my power back. And this is how it starts, guys. So Mahapapam Rudram Samarpuram. Let me say it again. Mahapapam Rudram Samarpuram. Mahapapam Rudram Samarpuram. Mahapapam Rudram Samarpuram. Mahapapam Rudram Samarpuram. Okay? What you're basically saying is, like, give this bad reputation back to Rudra, back to Shiva, right? So he can do something with it and actually transmute it for me. Because obviously his power is much greater than I. In order for me to transmute that into nothingness, it would take a lot. For him, it's like a millisecond. It's like oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I do anyway. You know, he's like, she was waiting for this stuff. He's like, oh, that's done. Okay, done. It's like, oh, didn't I order something from this baker? Done. It's like it arrives just right there. And you're like, what? That's quantum, right? That's weird. I thought Amazon Prime takes like a day or so to like get here. And I just ordered and it showed up instantly. Yeah. It's because you can access your energy instantly, my friends. You see, charisma, what a lot of people don't know about charisma, is it is just your energy, right? It's this invisible ally. And it's this energy part of you. So if you do this visualization with me right now, whoever is tuning in live right now, okay? Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. You imagine, you could be sitting down or standing, depending on what you want to do. Barefoot is best because you're naturally grounding. Wiggle your toes a bit. And now I want you to imagine that you're breathing from the bottom of your feet. Your nostrils, left and right, are on the left, right of your feet. Okay? As you imagine that the nostrils are at the bottom of your feet, I want you to take your energy, which is in your fingers, your hands. Okay? Just shoot it up into the heavens and bring it down. Once more. Bring it down, right? What are we doing right now? We're creating an aura. 100 times, 100 meters or whatever, right? The more times you repeat this, the more energy, charisma, emanation of your aura glow that you have. There's another very secret one I'll actually share that for the adepts only. I don't want to reveal too much on YouTube here. But it is a powerful one. That one is more so for magnetism. Okay, so if you're looking for like really powerful magnetic kundalini exercise that just makes everybody just stop and stare and turn at you, like just even that, right? Just like, what? Who? They're walking differently. Their energy is different. Why are they smiling? Like everybody else in the subway is like really tapped out, right? They're like, I'm done. The solar flares are killing them, right? But you have some kind of a code or something that you're like invisibly tapping into, right? And that's the energy that I want you to tap into when it comes down to remaining authentic in relationships, okay? Because it is that natural charisma that you want, right? You don't want to force it. You don't want to be like, it has to be like A, B, and C, or else she's going to yell at me. And then I have to, find all of these circumnavigating tools, right? To try to cover up my tracks. And it just ruins the purity, right? A lot of people think it's communication. I would say get back into inner child work first, my friends. Really, you've suppressed that fun part, and that's why you're having trouble to play with the feminine or to even engage with the masculine, right? So it's like you have to understand a way to do that with your own reflection, with your own mirror, right? Have you guys ever seen that video of like, it's like a, I don't even know if I should be talking about this, but it's like a video of Andrew Tate, and like he's like it's an animated video, right, where he's like making out with himself, and then it's like kind of gay, right? And it's made for fun, right? This video, and basically a baby is born out of him through his like, and he's like baby Tate or whatever, right? And that's kind of like, if you think about it symbolically, yeah, your internal, like if that was an internal world experience, like you really loved yourself, right? Not in the physical world, like he's actually doing it with his clone or whatever, but more so it's like an acceptance of both of those parts of you. Weird analogy, I know, very strange analogy, but it is that understanding of like both of those masculine feminine energies within you creates a third entity, right? Creates a third form. And that third form actually has one of the codes in order to communicate with others in relationships from that. Because that imprint often comes from our parents, right? Mother, father, male, female, right? And so if we notice our own internal codes, right? This heros gamos, some people call it, the god and goddess within, right? And them merging. So sometimes it can be a very symbolic thing, like a dark night of the soul, right? You're alchemically, like if you have, let's say, a murderer or a rapist, and they deeply self-reflect and they go down the dark hole of that, dark hole, right? They go down the dark cave of their own consciousness, they will come out of the other side with the elixir of life in some way. They might just stop harming others, right? Because why? Because they see themselves that they've been raped, they've been in a past life murdered or something, or they have this hidden rage in their family history, right? And that humbles somebody, and we go, wait, okay, I need to rethink this thing, right? So the real tools of alchemy that you're understanding, of breaking something down to its essentials, that's what we're talking about. Is we're facing the deepest core wound. We're understanding ourselves to the deep core level. You see, I was born in a C-section birth, which already created an imprint for me, right? I didn't make that choice, right? My parents had to do it for me, right? And that created an imprint and a reality. a specific kind of trauma for me. But it's invisible. It's very invisible. I could barely sense it. I have to be very tapped in to even pick up on it, of why I'm reacting or overreacting towards something, right? It comes from that wounding. And that went way back, right? I was in the womb or some shit, right? So that's the thing. Like, it goes that far back, guys, sometimes. And we can't just look at a relationship and be like, they're chewing all the time. Or why aren't they talking with their mouth open? Or like, these little things. It's like they didn't grow up around that, right? And we have to kind of excuse that, but also it's just like, it's not your job to teach them either. You don't have to mom and dad them all the time, right? But that's kind of what relationships end up being, is we're just kind of helping each other adult with each other. And it's like, is that really passionate? Is that really that spark of chemistry where you're in your masculine polarity, she's in her feminine, and there's just a natural chemistry, right? And that natural attraction that just pulls both of you towards each other? Rather than what? Like trying to put on this fake mask and like trying to pretend and impress her in the beginning, buy her lots of gifts, try to, can you maintain that throughout the relationship? Or are you just doing that just to get her, right? So that's the thing. It's like your authenticity really has to shine. It's not that you have to be doing more. It's that you have to start being more. Okay? And really up your standards, right? Like you really got to create your gravitational pull, your own solar system with this thing, right? You have to move with the energy of what you truly prefer, not what you don't want. A lot of people move with the energy of what they don't want, and then they start complaining about it, but they're actually magnetizing that shit to them. You see? Their complaints are just their unmet needs. It's their cry for help. It's their, let me out of here, okay? It's that. So that's what you have to really think about, guys, okay? Next thing is, I love doing visualizations that activate my dreaming. So if you ever write down your dreams or keep a dream journal, you'll understand how much it impacts your subconscious and your relationships, right? Relationship with self and other. Like, it's just incredible, the amount of symbolism. If you can come across some incredible symbolism through a dream, integrate it back into your waking life, it's going to change your life, bro. You're going to change your life overnight, straight up. Right? You're like, why did I see a hurricane? But then next week, you're like, holy shit, I get it now. Right? I was being blown away by someone else's energy or something. I don't know what it means, right? But you got to make that leap in faith and understanding, right? There's chaos, but then there's also understanding. Chaos from what? Ignorance, from blanketing oneself by putting my head in the sand, by avoiding things, rather than what? Facing them. Looking forward to them. It's like a lot of people take psychedelics in plant medicine in order to escape reality, not to face it. That's the biggest difference, I would say, in somebody else having an incredible life-altering trip, or someone who's just kind of dabbling recreationally and fucking around with it, right? So it's the intent, it's the setting, it's everything, right? So how you do one thing is how you do everything. So a lot of people, you know what they do, bro? They think while doing, and they do while thinking. You get what I mean? They're doing something and they're thinking, right? And they're thinking and they're doing something. But it's like, do when you do and think when you think. When you're doing, you're not trying to think, you're just doing. Flow state is when action and awareness is merging. You get what I mean? Flow state is when the action and the awareness are one. So I'm doing it, but I'm conscious that I'm doing it, slowly going unconscious, right? Subconscious, you could say. So an unconscious competence does that, right? You rep something 100 trillion times, it's natural to you now, right? It's like me lifting a thumb up, right? It's that easy, right? Excuse me, I'm trying to digest some food I ate before this. I ate some egg curry, anda curry, okay? All right, so I noticed myself doodling this the other day, right? And when I noticed myself doodling this, I was like, what am I doing? Like, it's just kind of like on autopilot, like kind of half sleepy, half kind of in my own world, tranced out a little bit, maybe, in that binaural trance, like kind of in a zone. And just kind of, I was copying this image, but it just kind of like this image, right? They're different. Look at them, right? Look at my version and look at this version, the Divine Madman, right? And well, also what it's very interesting is like the black dog and the black. I've always wanted a black dog, dude. Just like I'm such a big Kalabhairava fan, the black dog is such a powerful symbolism, like um, the keeper of heaven and the keeper of hell. Like it represents both. It's such a powerful symbol of just having a black dog, bro. A lot of people have black cats. I'm like black dog all day. Okay, tiny mini one, maybe a tiny, yeah, just a little small black pup. Be amazing. But yeah, let's manifest that later, bro. What I was saying is I was just doodling, right? And no change date. What did I write this in the notes? No change date. I think I'll remember later. Anyway, doodling is unconscious. When you're doodling, you're listening to someone in the classroom, right? And you just start doodling, right? You start doing this basically. And as you start doodling, it's like, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it a lot. And, as you start doodling, you're just understanding that you're basically letting go, right? You're letting go into letting the pen do what it needs to do over and over and over again, right? To create shading or patterns and things like this. But so you are actually accessing that state of play, right? As you're doodling, you're listening to maybe the teacher, but you're in the corner of your textbook, just like da da da, because the excess energy, right, that's going up into your head is going into the page now. You've created a meditative tool such as this through just drawing and moving your fingers in a meditative way. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's why doodling actually is one of the things that makes you remain authentic in relationships. An activity like doodling, I would say, because if you enter the relationship and you stopped all your hobbies, you know what I mean? Like you just stopped creating, you stopped working out, you stopped going to places. It's like, bro, like you need to emphasize that energy of your body knows the code, right? It knows what to do, right? We as people, yeah, we try to teach all these techniques and tantric sex secrets and all this stuff, but it's like the body knows what to do, right? To have sex. It's like it knows. It has this ancient hidden reservoir. This, how did our parents do it? You know what I mean? Like, of course, that's not the only example. It's like we want to up that, right? We want to up the ante at times and like optimize and shit. But it's like the same thing of a lot of the times, things become valuable, and this is a secret that I learned quite recently. You know, things become valuable because they solve a problem, and that includes people. That includes people. Okay. So if you're helping somebody to solve their problem, you are a valuable member. You are a valuable person. You know, if you're solving your own problems, you're valuable to yourself. Straight up. Okay. So it's really important for you to understand that, a lot of people, if you zoom in on their pain points, you know, you really start to notice that that's kind of what they always think about, right? like if you really take it back to that, like the thing that's happening in the mind is the thing that is taking up most pain. So time management becomes pain management, right? And that's where we start to go, wait a second, I'm actually taking care of my pain first. Like if you're in the hospital, bro, and you're still thinking, oh man, I'm missing work today. Like you have a workaholism issue, my friend. Like what is, yo, okay? Take one day off. It's like, it's okay, It's okay. Who's out there with a pen and a pad judging you with their, with their glasses down like this, like some image of that cranky teacher that you had in middle school or whatever, right? Who was always looking at you judgmentively, looking at you in just such a, you know, sketchy way. Like you were the suspicious one, right? Like what the, bro? I'm not the suspicious one. You are. You're the one going like this, right? So that's the energy, man. And I just want to really bring this up. So let's do a little bit of a recap, right? What we said. So number one, karma is a software. You got to understand how to use it, okay, in the physical body and mind. Number two, inner child healing. Number three, vision without karma is absolute chaos, okay? You got to create the vision first, then clear the karma. Mahapapam Rudram Samarpuram, the mantra that I mentioned in this video, okay? You just take water, you put it around the person's head or your own head. You can visualize you're dunking their head into the Ganges, bringing them up. Dunking their head into the Ganges, bringing them up, okay? Then the next one we have is, just disassociate from that other half twin flame nonsense. Like, just don't get stuck on these little concepts, guys, right? You have more than one soulmate. You can meet with anybody, do anything. Like, don't find the weird karmic, like, spiritual community limits that some random woman in Wichita, like, wrote down in some book somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like, don't let, like, some old lady, convince you and have your entire worldview flip around because she had a bunch of, hypnosis sessions or whatever. Like, what the fuck, right? A lot of people are dropping everything. It's like, let me just believe in Agnes. She channels Abagaba or whatever. Like, instead of taking away from what your own divine power. I'm a channeler myself. I'm not hating on that for 1 millisecond, but you got to understand. Are you using it as a way to improve your life or just another way to escape this physical incarnation, right? Next thing we have is dreaming, doodling, just having fun, man, having playful activities, that you do in the relationship. Oh, yeah, this is why I wrote down no change date. Oh, man, now I get it. Okay, so I randomly was going through this notes and I was like, no change date. What the fuck does that mean, right? So I gave this advice to all of my high-end clients and students and people who listen to my teachings. I was saying that if you as a couple, right, have one day of the week on that calendar where you just block it off, it does not change. It does not move. If it's walking every Wednesday, it's walking every Wednesday. It doesn't matter. You can't skip and skim and edit and, cut that time from me. Me and my divine queen, are you kidding me? That time is for us, right? So you got to lock it into your calendar, like 4 p.m. We're doing this. We're playing chess every Thursday at 4 p.m. And you both agree, obviously. You're not like diplomat, like, ultimatum guy. You're like actually having a conversation, like creating this resonance, this mission with her, right? And so if you're both on the same page like that, hey, we both need to go to the gym, let's just go every Sunday. We'll both go. And you get into this rhythm, you get into this habit that is unchangeable, unmoving, and you look forward to that within the next week. You guys get that? That becomes a staple of your bond, of your relationship. And as you start hanging out in this, you can use that space for anything, bro. Look at the freedom of just doing that, right? Karaoke Thursdays or something. And now every week you're like crushing it. You're improving your singing skills. You're messing up in front of each other. You're, going through each shadows and limits and arguments and figuring it out and then auto-correcting and then, moving forward and then hugging each other afterwards and then makeup sex. And then, you're learning through that what? Just that one time of karaoke. We just put it down on the calendar. And it doesn't change. Okay? Beautiful, right? Amazing. Okay? Shout out to JLP. Amazing. Okay? What the? All right. So thank you so much for listening, guys, and tapping in. This was a fun one. I think that, yeah, remaining authentic in anywhere, any situation is really, really important, because the world will try to change you, man. It'll try to dumb you down, dilute you, make you like a smaller version of Grant Cardone or whatever. But I don't really need that. You know what I mean? I'm so fine being myself, Uncle Makra, Dr. Scrizzy, whatever they want to call me, Zoom, right? I have so many nicknames at this point, bro. Just straight up, just call me the man, right? What the fuck? Just call me Himothy. Straight up, like who the fuck needs a name nowadays? That's the label anyway. They use your name to try to control you, right? Every time they call you, like, Jimmy or whatever, like, you have to turn around immediately. No, fuck no. You don't control me based on my name. I can turn around as slow as I want. You see? That's the same power that you maintain in relationships. They're calling your name like, Josh, 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 pick up the call, pick up the call, pick up the call, Josh, 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 right? This clinging girlfriend. And you're just like, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Boom, right? Stress down. It's like such a simple action, but you're like overthinking. Now, if you join in on her energy and you're going based off of her energy, right? Josh, 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 Mary, 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 why are you saying that? Well, you can pace her and try to change it and like try to, yeah, you could do some NLP on her, right? Or whatever. But it's like, yo, you got to maintain where you are, what you're doing. You're in a bowling alley and you're like, hey there, Mary. You're like changing your voice to sound more feminine and kind or some shit. Like, why are you doing that every time you're calling her? Right? Hey there, guys. We do that at times, not to upset or offend anybody, right? We lilt our voice up like a little bitch, right? Hey, is everybody okay? You do this. I do it too, right? It's just an unconscious pattern. But you can't, again, it's the same guys who think I have to be alpha 24/7 that lose in this thing. Bro, I'm alpha a little bit, then I'm a little bit beta, then I go into omega mode, and then I'll delta sometimes, and then I'll flash into like a sigma male, and then I'll suddenly hypertrophy into like a different demiurge. You guys get what I mean? It's not one thing. It's not like alpha, right? It's like, yeah, I can be the alpha and the omega. I'm both, right? It's like, that's the energy, right? The lowest of the low, the highest of the high. I don't care. I'm in all frequencies. I'm everything. I am one. And when you can bring this energy to relationships, bro, think about it. Imagine the mind-blowing tantric sex orgasms that you guys are going to create the world together with. God dang, that's beautiful. Right? Like, you're going to reprogram your minds, heal traumas together, individuate, like collectively heal, merge into one, astral body. Like, damn, girl. Get over here before my fifth, soulmate shows up. Right? So this is what I'm talking about, guys, right? This is a very, very important lesson, and I hope you found value in today's video. Give this video a thumbs up, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share this with a friend. We all got this. You got this. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. Us. Happy Thanksgiving. I know it's not Thanksgiving, but I'm just giving thanks regardless, right? Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. Gratitude. Let's go. Turkey season. Let's